Have you ever felt like life has dealt you an impossible hand? Like you've been planted in the worst possible place to grow? Today, I want to tell you a story that might just change how you see those challenges. It's a story about two tiny seeds, two friends, carried on the wind. They dreamed of growing into mighty trees, but fate had a different plan. They didn't land in a lush, green field. Instead, they tumbled into a narrow crack in a barren, stone-filled garden. Their new home was cold, dark, and unforgiving. The sun was a distant stranger, and water was a rare visitor. At first, they held on to their shared hope, whispering encouragement to each other in the darkness. But as days turned into weeks, the first seed began to lose heart. It looked around at the towering, cold stones and the slivers of light that barely reached them. "This is hopeless," it sighed. "We have no soil, no water, no sun. How can anything possibly grow here?" "This isn't a garden, it's a grave." The second seed tried to reason with its friend. "But we're here for a reason," it insisted. "There must be a way." But the first seed had already given up. It declared the fight pointless, convinced that struggle was futile against such overwhelming odds. It stopped trying to absorb the minimal moisture from the morning dew, stopped reaching for the faint light. It simply accepted its fate, and slowly it withered away, its tiny form drying up and becoming just another speck of dust among the stones. Its dream vanished before it ever had a chance to begin. Now, alone, the second seed felt a profound sense of loss, but also a surge of determination. It refused to follow its friend into despair. "There has to be a reason I landed here," it whispered to itself. "I will not let this place be the end of my story." This wasn't just blind optimism. It was a conscious decision, a declaration of war against its circumstances. It made a solemn vow. It would make the most of absolutely everything. It would absorb every single drop of rain that trickled down the rocks, no matter how small. It would treasure every weak ray of sunlight that pierced the darkness, using that tiny bit of energy to fuel its fight for life. It understood that waiting for conditions to improve was not an option. It couldn't wait for the rain to come, or for the sun to shine brighter. It had to act, it had to be proactive. So, it focused all its being, all its energy, on one singular, critical task, pushing its root downwards. It was a slow, grueling process. The hard-packed earth and stone resisted its every effort. Days bled into weeks with almost no visible progress. It was a silent, lonely battle fought in the dark, far from any watchful eyes. But the little seed persisted, pushing with a relentless will to survive, millimeter by millimeter, into the unyielding ground. Its journey downward was anything but smooth. Soon, its tiny, questing root hit a major obstacle. A large, solid stone blocking its path completely. For many, this would have been the end. The final, insurmountable barrier. But for this seed, it was just another problem to solve. It didn't try to brute force its way through. Instead, it did something remarkable. It began to secrete a weak, natural acid, a substance that, over a great deal of time, could slowly dissolve the stone's surface. It was an act of incredible patience and ingenuity. While breaking down the stone, it also worked to grow around it, finding the tiniest fissures and weaknesses to exploit. It was transforming the obstacle, not just fighting it. It was carving its own path where none existed, using continuous, gentle pressure to navigate the hard, rocky layers of its prison. After many, many weeks of this relentless effort, something miraculous happened. A tiny, pale green sprout, the physical manifestation of all that struggle, finally pushed its way through the crack in the rocks and emerged into the open air. It had reached the sun. That first touch of direct sunlight was like a jolt of pure life, a reward for its incredible perseverance. But the battle was far from over. As the sapling grew, its expanding roots and stem began to exert constant pressure on the stones around it. One day, with a groaning crack, the large rock directly above it split in two, creating a wider opening for sunlight and rain. The very thing that was meant to imprison it had been broken by its own growth. But it didn't just break its limitations. It used them. Its roots, now strong and thick from the constant struggle, didn't just push the stones away. They wrapped around them, gripping them tightly, weaving a powerful network through the rock. The stones that were once its prison became its foundation. They anchored it, giving it a stability that no tree in the soft soil of the garden could ever hope to have. This sapling, born of hardship, became the strongest and most resilient in the entire garden. When fierce winds blew, the other trees swayed and bent, some even breaking. But this tree, anchored to its stone foundation, stood firm and unyielding. The story of this little seed holds a powerful truth for all of us. The pressures and trials we face in life are not there to crush us. They are there to forge us. They are the universe's way of testing our resolve and forcing us to develop a strength we never knew we had. The moments when you feel most confined, most pressured, most stuck, are the very moments you are building your foundation. Your biggest obstacles, the things that seem designed to stop you, can become your greatest sources of strength and your most profound achievements. So, the next time you find yourself in a crack in the rocks, remember this story. Don't give up. Push down your roots, embrace the struggle, and turn that stone into your fortress, because it's in the harshest environments that the strongest souls are grown. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that empowers you to grow through what you go through. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next video.